We're starting a new era of the Indy Ball Report with familiar faces and a lot more. Go on and listen to this week's episode of the Indy Ball Report podcast. All right, back again, episode 221, Indy Ball Report podcast. I'm Nick. Will's not here anymore. Ryan's here, though. Hi, Ryan.
Wait, is he not here anymore? Not here anymore?
Yes and no. My understanding is, because we did talk about this, because he told me about it.
Yeah, I just confirmed the fact that I missed the last podcast.
Yes, you did.
I hate it.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way.
Well, previously on Indy Ball.
Yeah, really. Where's the All My Children people to go ahead and do the recap real quick?
I was going more along the lines of Shameless.
Oh, I guess that works too.
I
was thinking more soap operas. The show really is a soap opera because
we just said we were going to focus.
We did. That's the thing I was about to say. We definitely weren't just doing this for the past hour.
Yeah, no, we should just set this thing on fire, but we're too deep in now.
Exactly. We just got to keep going. So I guess we'll try to keep some order. We got American Association to talk about, got Atlantic League to talk about, got Frontier League to talk about, maybe Pioneer League. I don't really know. That depends on how long we take on everything else. And there's going to be a bunch of other stuff that you may or may not hear one day. So, let's just run with that.
I'm Ryan, by the way.
Yeah, he's Ryan, by the way. He has an ALPB roundup show that I'm called it that, even though it's Indy Ball Nation now, because I look at the graphic on the screen. It said
ALPB. That's for missing the last episode.
Exactly. See, so now we're square. But we have current events happening. So I guess starting the American Association, we'll work our way forward and hopefully it won't go off the rails too much, like putting a firecracker on a track and then seeing a trail derailment on the news. So that may be the context around one of the stories that's in the first half of this. But the Railcats got sold, which kind of relates to shit we were talking about in that first part. Because Patrick and Lindy Selvey, they sold to Joseph Eng, who is a tech executive. He's currently on the board of Bill Trust. He is the CIO, Chief Information Officer, for those unfamiliar with acronyms. And he held similar roles at Swift, JetBlue, and Travel Click. I have heard of two of those three, so that's doing pretty good. Selvey's owned this team from 2008 till now. And only other biographical information from Ing is he's from New Jersey, went to Piscataway High School. He got his BA from Rutgers and his master's from NYU. So we lost one Rutgers fan. Now we're talking about another Rutgers guy here. So that's kind of fitting in a way. And I can honestly say my favorite spot to go for checking up for interviews and doing deep dives with people I know nothing about is LinkedIn, because you can get a lot of really fun questions started off of LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's actually, that's really, I'm mad at myself because I would never have thought to go that direction. I can actually see that. I have not used that tactic, but actually I might pocket that. I like that.
I only thought of it because I looked up someone's name, their LinkedIn page popped up, and I was like, ooh, that's a good idea. But see, sometimes it's handed to you, and you just got to run with it. But any thoughts on the Railcats getting sold?
That's something, man. So I don't know. It's Gary. I have a hard policy on my show, and I'm going to continue onto your show. I will not talk bad about Gary. I think it's too easy. I think and not too easy again, which sounds like I'm talking bad about it. It's everyone does it, and I don't think that's necessarily fair. The people who live there I respect the hell out of, because that is, you're sticking in it. But I mean, the ballpark's in a tough area. If I recall, it might be getting a little bit better, but boy, man, it's just the lack of disposable income, and the places where there is disposable income, it's just they don't want to go in to Gary during the night, and you can't do day games because they're employed, and bro.
I mean, they're doing decent attendance wise, though.
They are, and honestly, they have
2,900 is nothing to sneeze at. Fourth best.
Yep, and they have had a solid product on the field, which is cool. And I honestly think, this actually does some clarification for me, because I was sort of thrown off by, they announced their Lamar Rogers managerial signing, not signing, but re-signing really late. I mean, because he's not new. He managed last season. They didn't have a great year, but whatever.
Gary hasn't been good for a while.
They got better. I think it's sort of weird that I was really thrown off. I was like, it had that weird energy of we looked for other managers. We didn't find one that we could attract to Gary. Now we have Lamar Rogers again. But now I'm more thinking like maybe it was just up in the air because they might have new ownership. Sounds like this was coming together over time. And I think that would make some more sense. The people who I've talked to, a little glimpse into my process. If I don't know somebody personally and I can't get in contact with them, I talk to anybody who might know them and has worked with them, and then I compare notes. But people have said like they like a good dude to be around. They like working with them. So I don't know. That's why I was confused at first why the signing came so late. So maybe this sheds a little light there.
Honestly, I think just a lot of these teams just take their sweet time announcing it. Because, I mean, like a lot of these guys that don't get announced as, oh, they're coming back because it's just kind of assumed, even if they got multi-year deals. Like, I know Pete had an option on his and they announced it fairly early, but I always assumed it was just a 3-year deal, but they announced him. But like other guys, they just never announce some teams. So I think it just depends on the team and if they think it's worth announcing or not. But, you know, I do want to point out one thing, though, because when I checked the Gary attendance, my eyes were immediately drawn to Sioux Falls.
Oh, hold on. I got to head over there now. Boy.
Because we're going to discuss the Jackals later on, and attendance will come up with the Jackals. But
yes,
you see the Sioux Falls attendance?
I'm getting there. Hold on. I'm sorry. I was deep in the Pecos League pages, so I had to reverse.
So you got to reroute. Yeah.
Just hard reverse. Sioux Falls, you said.
Yeah, Sioux Falls.
Oh, yeah. Oh my.
Yeah. And if you switch over to the Jackals.
That's for those listening and not actively sitting there and following us like some sort of weird, adventure and clicking around on your own computer as we do the same.
It's not weird. It's part of the assignment. This is like a follow along.
Everybody open your point streak to the AA regular season 2023 attendance.
Go get your Dakota rings.
7,923 over the course of 10 games. That is 792 for context. Kane County has had 10 games, and the reported attendance, I don't know if I believe it, is averaging 5,494. So that is, yes, that is embellished for sure. Yeah. That is like 7 times higher. But even if they have half of that, that will put them 3 times higher. So that's tough.
Yeah. And just as a comparison here, just to give people a gauge here, because we both have been very active about pointing out the fact that there are attendance issues over at Hinchcliffe. The Jackals, through 7 home games, now grant you, there was a camp day, at least one camp day, there may have been 2. They're averaging 879 fans a game. Nearly 100 more. Yeah,
and for those, I mean, we're not just picking on teams here. My interest is always in what is good for Indy Ball, and what's good for Indy Ball is teams doing well. And what concerns me is things like either of the teams that we're talking about here. But when you're not, attendance produces attendance very often. So if you've ever been to some empty games, which if you're listening to this podcast, I got a funny feeling you have, the vibe, it can be uncomfortable. Like you're looking people in the eye, like you almost feel weird with like the staff, with like there's more staff than fans. Like that's one of those things where it's uncomfortable and it doesn't get a desire to come back. Not to mention like that whole vibe you get of a full ballpark and the energy you can get isn't there, and that detracts from things too. So it's just, that is why it's a concern, is because if you don't have good attendance, it's hard to get good attendance. It's hard. We've seen it with the Jackals. You and I have talked about it a lot, that the Jackals post these videos of their stadium, and I mean, my God, like they'll post it and the whole ballpark's in it and you see dozens of people. And I'm like, I was frustrated in Lexington doing social media because they told me like, don't show empty seats. And as it was explained to me, the policy was like, don't show really any empty seats, which was a challenge. But like, you can show some empty, but like, don't show just a fully empty ballpark. Like, you can find ways to be creative about it. Like, not saying lie, but like, show you want to show the best of what you have going on, and the best of what you have going on is one, maybe the play on the field, and 2, the fans who are actually there.
And 3, you have a historic ballpark that has a lot of media attention around it. Plus, it's been recovered fairly well. You can work around the ballpark itself, but even just getting creative with camera angle could work out a lot. Start pulling out some Dutch angles and whatnot. Like I refuse to believe that you can't find like a social media person that, like a part-time film like student or a comm person that's doing all that kind of thing. Because I know I was taught all that stuff in comm. Like you can find someone like that to do that media. Now, how easy it is, I don't know, but I can guarantee you if you could go ahead and give them access to something, then I think they would probably take it. You could tell them to go wild with it.
Yeah, and now here's the caveat too.
Yeah.
I firmly believe you can have 3 people in the ballpark and you will be okay if you treat them well. I think, and I don't know, and I actually do owe an apology to somebody commented, somebody I've talked to a good bit too, about that ballpark and that they've gone to a game, and like basically if you want to talk about what the experience was like, let me know. And I forgot to hit them up, but I don't know what the fan experience they could be taking care of them, because I believe if 3 people have a hell of a time, they leave and they tell one person, and then next time you could have
I got an email about this.
That's a method.
I hate to cut you off because it's kind of rude there, but I remember I got an email about this the other day. I got an email from someone, I don't know who it was, but I got an email from them that said my review of Hinchcliffe from May 27, 2023. I don't know who this person is. They just sent it to me out of the blue, and they sent it off of their Android phone. I kind of want to give the email address, but I also don't want to dox this person. So
chat me the name.
Yeah, I don't know what the guy's name is, though. I just have his email address.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and maybe that means something to you. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. That's so weird.
Yeah. So whatever it may be, he sent me a full-on review of it. I'm not going to read it all because I don't want to, use this guy's stuff without giving him credit, because, he should get credit for it. He sent it to me, but I don't have his name, and I forgot to email him back to get his name. So I'll go through the whole thing next week if I can remember to email him and do everything. But apparently they charge you $15 to park, and you have to pay in advance. So that's not a great starting point. No shade, but we knew that. Seats on the first base side, very far away from the field due to the track. Odd dimensions, playing field. Tickets and concessions are on the expensive side, and offerings are thin. Seats having no backs was apparently a problem. Plus, they called it charging premium for everything. Although his point number 10, because there's 13 negative things, but there's a bunch of positives also. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I shouldn't say negative. He said it's not without numerous glaring problems, and he listed 13 of them. So 13 reasons why.
Wow.
Yeah. Went that way. Yeah. Apparently they play music between every pitch, and then he emphasized every single pitch.
Okay. That depends on the music, because I've got a theory on that too, that it can be a vibe if it's done well, and it's not just like that. Like there's a couple teams that just put noise out there. I'm like, no. Like if it kind of keeps a rhythm, like if there's a flow to it, that can vibe.
Yeah, if it keeps the beat going.
Like, I mean, almost the way basketball does, where it's like kind of fade in and out.
Yeah, it's almost it's more like ambience music.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He also said the annoying horn player from Montclair came over. I like that dude. I like Horn Man.
Horn Man
playing his horn, blowing his horn. I like that guy. Although I could see how he could be annoying, especially if you're sitting near him. I make a point to not sit near his section when I went over to Yogi Berra, because I was like, third inning, I'm going to be done with this shit.
It's like the World Baseball Classic guy who was like blowing a horn, and like game 1 of the World Baseball Classic, everyone's like, nah. And everybody who's played a single game in the Dominican was like, bro, just wait.
Yeah. Let's see some other complaints on this. And we've turned this into more just general talk, but we'll do it that way this week, because honestly, it's more fun that way. Sure. Apparently, some of the seats have the dugout blocking the view, and also the bouncy house that they put on. It's on the track inside, and it blocks the first base side. So the sight lines are messed up.
And it's inside the safety netting.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. I saw that picture, and I was like showing other people, and I was like, am I crazy to think that that's on the wrong side of the net? And everyone's like, no, it's on the track. And I was just like, why? Like, that just seems incredibly dangerous if someone fouls one off there.
I'll give you the best comment I got. It was someone who just said it's a TNA house show in 2009, which is oddly specific, but I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay. So, but here's the thing. I'm not hating on Jackals. I'm not hating on Sioux Falls.
There are
I
5
believe
good
it can be done. Okay. What are the good things? Hit me.
Okay, the 5 he lists as the good things. And dude, remember, if you're hearing it, I am going to give you credit. Just email me your name and I'll give you credit for it. Or remind me to email you and I'll give you credit. He said section 16 is the best in the park. Close to the field, no obstructed views. So get section 16 if you're going. Jack the Jackal is as entertaining as he was at Yogi Bear. Kids seem to love him. I have a funny story about Jack the Jackal that I'm not going to share on the show, but it is a funny story.
Okay.
The turf is new and pristine. Odd dimensions make for a quirky arrangement like the Green Monster-like net in right field. And the place oozes history. Even with its problems, you feel like you're sitting someplace special.
And I could see that, and boy, if they lean into that, they'll be okay. That's always been my thing. The moment I saw dimensions, I was like, this is going to be a trash fire. But if you lean in, like, I mean, okay, I'll be honest, like PJ and I talked about that because we're talking about like, okay, how are you going to get a pitcher to this ballpark? And I think, we didn't really necessarily solve that. It's actually, they're starting to settle in. So shout out to PJ for being good at what he does. But I mean, we were talking about it and like basically selling the experience, like not only to fans, but the players. Like, this is like a rare opportunity. Of course, a smart player might also say, well, I could just visit as a visiting player 6 times, then we're done. But neither here nor there. But to the point, I think there's potential. I really hope it goes well, man. It's just, again, if they're treating their fans well, if fans come back or leave wanting to tell people about it, they can do it. And I've probably mentioned them every time I'm on your show. But that's what the Savannah Bananas did in the beginning, bro. They weren't on TikTok day one. They were just showing out for fans in the ballpark.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely can do that. I'm just looking at some of the pitchers they have running out there. Hope they managed to make John Baker an 8.5 ERA.
Yeah, man. What are their 10 bombs the first game? They've slowed down a little bit, at least. Yeah. But good Lord.
Good for them to maintain a decent ERA, though. I mean, like, their starters are getting killed, though. I mean, Nick Belzer, first off, is not a starter. He's best in the bullpen. But, 22 runs in 17 innings isn't a great start.
Yeah, and, I mean, I'll look at it this way. Like, they've got... Yeah, they just have one quality starter. That's the problem. It's going to be difficult to get it done that way. And, I mean, that's not necessary. Dylan Castaneda is probably fine.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad.
John Baker's just not getting it done. Like Nick Belzer, like your 4 starts and you have an 11 ERA. Like, not putting you on blast, my guy, but like, it may be
a fairy hawk showing you up in Anthony Rodriguez.
But look, like, here's the weird one. He had a 4.3 ERA with Kansas City not Kansas City, like with the Monarchs last year. Yeah. So, I mean, and he's had a 4.2 ERA with St. Paul in 2019. He had a 1.3 ERA in 27 innings with St. Paul. Like, he's delivered. So, how much of it's the ball? He's given up 8 home runs. I've got to assume that's ballpark related.
Yeah, and they're not all single shots.
Although
you got to feel for Tucker, 80 grade name, by the way.
Absolutely, my guy. Hell yeah, brother.
But in 5 2/3, 4 home runs. But yet the thing is, his ERA is not as bad as some of the guys on this team. Like Dazon Cole and Nick Belzer both have worse ERAs. Now, granted. And I mean, only 2/3 more of an inning on Dazon Cole, but which also was a pretty solid name. But
I'm calling on someone to get their act together and sign Lance Lusk.
Yeah,
10 1/3 scoreless, 5 hits in 10 1/3 innings, 3 walks, 17 Ks. Get him out of the frontier. What are we doing?
I mean, really, he shouldn't be here. Some of these guys shouldn't be here. Like, if we're going to, I guess, just go right into some of the Frontier League guys because we're on it. Like, other Frontier League guys that really should not be here. I mean, like, Pete Zimmerman's doing just amazing so far. You see what he's done so far this year?
Yeah, man. They just were posting about him, too. I saw that. He's, 8 dingers and, 20-something RBIs?
Yeah, 27 RBIs, 15 games. Woo! Batting over 400.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, he's up there. Like, my guy Josh Altman's obviously been killing it, and then
unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Altman, man. He's awesome. I like that guy a lot because he just is like, hell yeah. Plus, I was talking to him on Instagram the other day, and he's like, thanks for the shout out. Him and a couple other guys I talked to a lot over there, just like the Sioux City people. I was talking to them after we did the preview, and they were like, we disagree with your assumption there, and we're a better team than you think. I was like, okay, I hope you're right. And then they went out and played really good, and then they fell back to earth by losing 4 in a row and beating 3. And only getting 3 wins in their last 10. So hope you boys are covered.
I am saying this, understanding the fact, 2 facts. One, that, again, I have worked with PJ, we're friends, and this is going to be a criticism. And 2, that he doesn't care necessarily what I think, and he's probably not listening to this. I think
I'll send it to him. Don't
New
worry.
Jersey they need a different lineup. I'm gonna say, I'm not looking at what their lineups are every time. They are mid-pack in offense right now, and they have
that in that ballpark.
6. They have 6 guys with a OPS over 900. They have 3 with 1 dot. Keon Barnum has a 1.329 OPS right now. Like he's slashing 400, 529, 800 slugging percentage right now. Those 6, the fact that they're only scoring 5.5 runs per game, and they have 6 guys putting up numbers like that, it's got to be, there's a rally killing situation in there somewhere. So there's got, I mean, look, I'll admit it first, I've not been checking lineup consistently very closely in the Frontier. So maybe that's, they're trying to plug it in different orders, whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. Though, as I say that, I'm like, Philip Urban hasn't been playing. Forgive me if I missed that happening.
Yeah, no, he hasn't played much. Joe Simone hasn't played much, and he was big from the last year. And they just, like, I'm looking through, like, their regular guys. And the problem here is, and I could point out the 3 that are probably the worst offenders here. Terrell, he hits home runs, but that's about it. Then Rio has not been great. Although I think he had a gnarly injury either last year or the year before where he broke his leg.
Right, I think so.
Yeah, so I don't know what the effects of that could be, but he's not doing great either. And then Alfredo Marte is not really performing right now.
Yeah, Marte needs to.
Yeah. If Marte picks it up, then they'll be fine. Like, he can survive 2 guys, like so, especially if one's just like go for broke Adam Dunn type, like Terrell is. You could survive that, but you can't have 2 or 3 everyday starters just not performing. That's not going to work. Even if you have some good guys in there. Yeah.
I'm going to need the Frontier League to start reporting their positions on Baseball Reference. Killing me.
See, that's why I'm just going right to the Frontier League website.
Gross.
Yeah, I know.
By that I mean it's smart. Yeah. It's so crazy seeing Ruth Estrada not hit well, because like he raked for Lexington last year, and like 77 plate appearances, like a 1.2 OPS, and I was so thoroughly confused. It was out of nowhere, and then he got signed, and he didn't go very well in the minors, and now he's hitting like a $105, and I'm like, oh, I hate that for him. I want him to do well, but I'm like, okay, at least it wasn't crazy.
You see, I'm in that camp for like Brantley Bell. I want to see Brantley Bell do well.
Oh, Austin White, my God, buddy.
You've just gone through guys you know now from Lexington, just like, oh no, it's not.
No, not even that. It's just he's straight out of college. He hit well in college. He played good. Like he played well. Sorry. I mean, something's got to click. See, that's the other thing too. Like, there's so many teams right now across Indy Ball where like it's going to click at some point. Like, I'm sorry, Austin White is not a 192 OPS guy. He was playing D1 ball last year and had a 758 OPS, which isn't crazy, but I mean, come on, he's not going to the Frontier League and getting 1 hit in 27 plate appearances. It's crazy. So, like, that's why I always shy away from even overreacting too much this early. But what else are we going to do here? Exactly. Yeah, Barnum's really good. Call that an underreaction.
Yeah, see, I mean, if you want to overreact, we can overreact the teams here because the East is just terrible in the Frontier League.
Yeah, it's a situation.
Because I looked this up here, and like the East is so mid outside of Sussex County, including Sussex. There's only 3 teams above 500. Or 500 or better, actually, because the Jackals are 500. The Boulders are 1 game above, and then the Miners are 6 games above, and everybody else is a losing record. Now, I think the Valley Cats are up right now, so possibly by the time this comes out, they'll have a winning record. But even still, Quebec's not looked good. 3 Rivers has been about what I think expected. Ottawa's underperforming, and the Grays are overperforming, but they're still a 5-win team.
Yeah. I'll say this, and here's a theory on the Canadian teams, because the Canadian team's been brutal. I mean, I think Ottawa lost series to Empire State. And I know. And my theory could be they have, and possibly still have, sorry, I don't pay enough attention to Canadian politics, that federal strike going on up there, and that was a huge concern for a couple teams who had to travel up there about getting visas approved. So you got to get your visas approved. You're going up there, and you have Americans are free passed, but I think Latin American guys need a visa. And I do wonder, I mean, I'm looking at these rosters. There's not many Latin American cats on these rosters. I'm wondering if they got some guys who they have like ready to go, but visa paperwork is stuck.
I mean, that could be it. I mean, if that's the case, it does make sense because they're all right there, pretty much the same records.
Moments you wish that you had a 2-season or a 2-half format.
This is like the only time you'd ever wish for that.
I know.
But
we're not going back into that. We've talked about like 3 times on the show.
Yeah, no, because it's stupid. I mean, if we're going to do stupid playoff formats, and I suggest my playing game format, but my playing tournament format, actually. But that or my other idea that I mentioned briefly to Will once, and he was like, that's a dumb idea. Don't talk about it.
Well, now I got to ask which one that was. Then we got to move on. We are struggling on this podcast, and I apologize.
Like, as long as it's entertaining, it's not a struggle.
Is it?
Not in my mind. In any case, the dumb idea I had, and I mentioned it briefly at the end of one show, you may remember me mentioning it, was I almost wish, as a playoff format, you just set like a record to qualify at. So let's say your record to qualify in a 100-game season is like you have to win 53 games. And if you get to that 53 win mark, you qualify for the postseason. And then you just play kind of a ladder tournament going from there. So the last like 2 teams to qualify are going to play each other. And then the winner goes on to that next team that just barely got in, and you work your way up until you get to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I like a ladder format. That's for sure. I mean, so you're saying basically use it like the PGA cut line.
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind of, and I could say there could be some flexibility in there too. Like, say the line is, you can. Well, no, that's not really how the cut line works because you don't set it; it's set by the position. But like that way, yeah, I guess you could say it's a line, and then like maybe say if only, you know what? No notes. I kind of like it.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I think it. Like obviously, there's a lot of logistic issues with it. Obviously,
but division you can run them up.
Exactly. But see, that was my thinking because I remember like the whole idea started from me looking at some of these divisions, just like some of these teams shouldn't be here because they're just lambs to slaughter. But at the same time, you got good teams on the other side not working out. So my thought process was just like, hey, why don't we just make it qualifying? Even do winning percentage. So that way, if someone has rainouts versus non-rainouts or something happens, like you don't put enough lights in your stadium and you're affected by weather way too much, you could still qualify. So maybe you make it like a 525 winning percentage or something like that. Yeah.
No, I don't, it's not the worst playoff format out there.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I was saying, if you were doing dumb ideas, like, I think it's a smart, dumb idea personally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in favor. I'd go to bat for it. I'd let it go once. Check it out.
That's the thing. Like Pecos League, do that. It's interesting.
Yeah, honestly, why not? Like that would be, I fully support Pioneer League. I feel like Pioneer League could go for it.
Pioneer League may work too. There's only 8 teams there, so I mean, like you could even cap it at a certain number, where like no more than like 6 get in. Go Can-Am, all but 2 teams. But I just wonder how the money would work out there because obviously, like. It doesn't make sense travel-wise, but if more teams make the postseason, in theory, you'd have more dates. Now, of course, they're end-of-season dates, and they're worth less, especially in like the Pioneer League market where it gets cold a lot earlier, and there's other stuff going on, so that makes it tougher. But I feel like in the right markets, especially if the teams were all like fairly close together, like fairly local, you could make it work. Like maybe a summer college league would make a lot more sense for something like this. Where like a Cape Cod league, where you go ahead, everybody's already right there, so travel's not really as much of a concern, and you just open more dates to make more money on because you're not really paying players, so your expenses are fairly, I don't want to say they're low, but they're lower than professional ball. So if you're just opening the doors more often, what are you really paying? Concession staff?
Honestly, man. Good point. Yeah.
So it's one of those crazy ideas I had. I don't know if it's any good, but I had it.
Honestly, the reason I'm not saying much is I'm kind of like, yeah, all right.
See, I knew you'd go for it because it's crazy.
I'm a ladder playoff guy too, so like you already got me there. I like it.
So, but in any case, playoffs are kind of far off. Wrapping up Frontier League talk. Gateway's pretty good. 7 in a row. They're pretty good.
Oh, dude, swing day every day for Gateway, man. Good Lord.
This team's really entertaining. And I remember I was high on them last year. I was less high on them this year. and now my kind of wild card pick team in like Lake Erie's on the verge of becoming a worse team than Windy City is, and I'm not loving that.
No, Windy City has been looking like they're picking up a little bit, which I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
I see Sexton do okay.
Yeah, no, he's definitely doing solid. I mean, I'll put it like this: they're on a better trajectory than Washington is, who's had a rough patch, man.
Yeah,
Not
man,
good.
that looked optimistic for that first weekend.
I know. I was really high on them. I was like, yeah, they're doing good, and then just no.
Yeah, I know it sucks.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gateway has 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with 1 OPSs right now, but 3 because 1 is not actually getting ABs. But that's pretty damn good, man. And that does not include Clint Freeman, who's killing the ball.
Oh yeah, Clint Freeman.
They have
fantastic.
Okay, let's play this game. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of their 10 batters with more than 10 plate appearances. 9 of the 10 are hitting over 300. The other one's hitting 297.
Which, can I just point out Brian Rosario too for Evansville real quick? 20 stolen bases in 14 games.
Massive. That dude knows what he's doing. He knows. He's like, what's the record? That guy, he's the guy who steps on the tee, hits a tee shot, looks over and goes, what's the course record? Like that guy. That is what we're looking at here.
Yeah, true. I mean, the thing that's getting me though is he's only getting on base at 224.
So he's just going every time.
Yeah, that has to be it. Because like I'm looking at this here, and like, oh, I see how. Oh my God. Okay, I see how. So he's really picked it up as of late because he wasn't doing too much early on. But then the Jackal series, he swiped 3 bags in the one game, 2 bags in another game, nothing the following one. Then against Quebec, 3, 1, and 2. And then against Windy City, May 30th, 3. And then apparently last night he stole 4 bases.
Wow, he's going off. Okay. Yeah. By the way, if you're an Atlantic League team, get him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like with the pickoff rule? Absolutely.
Plus with the pinch run rule.
Oh, yeah, true. I totally forgot about that one.
Get I mean, yeah.
He's fast, dude.
He ain't slow, bro.
Yeah. Which I forgot to mention, pitch clock violations is starting in pretty much every league now. They're calling them.
Yeah, I've been seeing a few of them. I like the repeat offenders, like guys who are just like, well, is what it is.
I just don't care. Just don't care.
Kind of a vibe.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it. Which, speaking of Atlantic League, just wanted to quickly touch on them.
Sure.
Can I just say, like, how we can basically, for the first half, separate teams into tiers between, like, absurdly good, and just garbage fire?
Yes. Yep.
Because, like, you have, like, at the top, you just have, like, High Point and Gastonia just duking it out. One of them's going to come out on top, one of them's going to get screwed. Then you have those, like, a bunch of teams that are, like, a few games above 500 to 500, like Lexington's there. York's gotten hot, so now they're there, which grants to Rick Forney on win number 900. Good for him. And I forgot to mention, we talked about Gateway. Steve Brook, 600 wins. Congrats to him, too. That's why I was a big fan of that hiring in Ottawa, and then didn't work out. Worked out for Ottawa, but even still, still a big Steve Brook fan. But yeah, Long Island's in there too, which is a weird team. I feel like they should be better than they are, but they're not. They're not bad at all. Then there's Southern Maryland too, which they feel like an aberration that's going to kind of fade away sooner than later. But like at the same time, I don't really know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. Yes, all of that is yes. I'm just looking at the standings myself, and
yeah.
I mean, it's tough because
everybody tight at the top here, man.
I know they're good, and the other issue is that Lancaster, and talk about the flaws of the 2-half system. I do think Lancaster's possibly still a playoff team because they're a second half team, and they seem to have that just figured out. Like that
they're
seems
sandbagging right now.
They plan the roster they want in July, not necessarily in May. And there's something to be said for it. I mean, it worked last year, but
yeah, it did.
There's the reverse theory too of clinch early and then you can line up, but that's a different headache. But yeah, it's the fact that Charleston's not great. A lot of people were able to cash those early wins on Frederick when they were still struggling, but they're 10-7 since that 0-13 start, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
do you see their
yeah?
If you take out all of their Gastonia games, I think they're like 10-11 because I think they're 0-9 against Gastonia.
All right, so then they bump up from that bottom tier to the middle tier. So I mean, good for them there.
Yeah, that team can ball. I believe in Matt Cossey there because he just keeps They're third straight year of having to put a team together from scratch like that.
Yeah, that's true. That you having to do that all on the fly. It's not great.
As if there isn't mostly a genomes team, but
yeah, fair point. Fair. Which can I just say about Charleston though? Like overall as a team, they may not be good, and right now my like wild card pick of them making the postseason by just fluking into a half win is not doing too hot, admittedly. And I gotta be honest, I'm not thinking it's gonna pan out well. But Danny Warchansky, man, he's a killer. I love this dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one I think of.
Yeah, 5 games, sub 2 ERA. Only 11 walks in 30 innings. Like, come on, that dude's a guy. Strikeout an inning guy too. Loved him in Rockland. Love him here. Dude's a baller.
25% clip on strikeouts right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta like it. I mean, get him out of here. Sign him. 25 and a lefty. Get him out.
The problem is because he did a different podcast, which I should try to get him on the show. But like, he did a different show, and it's like every time he gets signed, the medical's the issue because he had an elbow issue for a while. Then he had to get, I think it was Tommy John, because he goes through the whole thing. If I find the thing, I'll send it to you, the podcast episode I listened to about it. But so every time he gets looked at, it pops up on the medical, and teams are like, we're not going to roll the dice on an Indy Ball guy that's got a messed up arm. So yeah, bye. So like, if you remember last year, I think it was the Diamondbacks signed him technically.
Right.
And then he was turned around in like 40 hours. He was back in Rockland.
Yeah. And I'm looking, if you're again wondering what my life is like, I have a database of like every Tommy John that really you can find. Yeah. He's not on there, which is always a sign that he didn't go maybe to the one of the main guys. I always wonder, like, you know, I'm not saying James Andrews has to be the guy, but there's a couple guys who like, they're the people who are doing them. And, guys and ladies, but let's be honest, it's actually really gross. It's all guys. But at least in the list I have. But yeah, I mean, you sometimes wonder, like, and that's so terrifying. I'm sorry to like get down that and be a bummer for everybody. I hope nobody has an elbow go sprawling. That's what I hope. Yeah. But if your elbow goes sprawling, like, you know, make sure do all. This is so stupid. Of course they're all trying to go to the best doctor they can, but boy, it makes you nervous. That's a dumb thing to say. I get that, but like here's the thing, like, it fills me with anxiety. Yeah, like I know he's a suburban New York guy too. So like, if he could do it, like the place to go would be HSS, like Hospital for Special Surgery is the place to go for any orthopedic. They're on top of the game. I mean, the Mets use that place. Yeah, but again, I mean, let's talk about what kind of insurance you're getting with your team. Fair point. Yep. That's a major point. That's why I was saying if he could get to there. But yeah, I mean, you think though, if your goal is to be a professional pitcher, and a guy like Dan too, I mean, he has the stuff to prove it. And like, I think realistically too, because he got it done a couple years back, if I'm not mistaken. Like, if you're getting it done like 22, 23, and a lefty, and you're doing that, like, obviously it's a big roll of the dice, and I understand there's a lot that goes into it. Don't get me wrong here, but like, that feels like an investment in your career, right? Yeah, but dude, like, I know the number one source of debt in the country is medical debt, man. You want to have that talk? I mean, our medical system is busted. I know. We're venturing into that other show talk now. Yeah, true. Yeah. Any case, other ballers. Capuano's still doing pretty good, which is really impressive considering he's playing for the Fairy Hawks. And Nick Riquette, a dude I had on my preview sheet. I forgot to mention him, but he's literally on the one preview sheet I made up that said players to watch. He's number 2 on that list. I forgot to mention him during the preview. I'm so annoyed because now it's not on record, but I was calling this. Yeah, dude, that's the way it always goes. Yeah. If you're not going to name somebody, that guy's going to have a year. He's going to show out. And I knew it too. That bothers me so much. But yeah, he's balling out too. I'm surprised he's still here. Yep. With the way pitching gets rated. But meanwhile, we got a battle. So High Point and Gastonia right now playing 7-4 Gastonia, but it was 5-0 at one point. Now then it was 5-4. Now it's 7-4. And right on cue, talking about High Point and Gastonia, how someone's going to get screwed, like you said earlier. Yeah. Brady Salisbury, shout out, just texted me. Every game of High Point is going to be a boxing match. LOL. Yep, a fair observation, my man. That reminds me, because now we're talking about High Point and Gastonia. Atlantic League umpiring. Yes. Banner week for them. Aren't they all?
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I had a couple of guys just DM me. They were like, "It's worse than high school."
Yeah. So I'll say this, and I won't go too in depth because I'm about to put it out there sort of in a public way. I'm trying to catch up. I started after the season started, but I'm tracking umpire accuracy rates in the Atlantic League, which has the easiest data to track. And yeah, man, it's not great. And there are some good ones in there. So I'm not saying there's not. So if you're like, well, okay. Yeah, you're probably fine. But
Tim McCaffrey
or you're not, because if you all probably think you're good because you're making the calls, and if you're making bad calls constantly, you're probably still making a bad call about whether or not you're accurate. Yeah. But it's neither here nor there. But how about this? So one of the stats that I'm tracking is on pitches that are within approximately a baseball length. It comes out to about 2.5 inches, a baseball width rather, of the edge of the strike zone. What the accuracy is, because accuracy rates will be like 98%. It's like, yeah, but like about 90% of balls are not close, and I would say about half of strikes aren't close. So I look at that as kind of the standard, and called pitch accuracy in the league is on close pitches is about 66%. So 1 out of every 3 pitches within about a baseball of the edge of the strike zone is called incorrectly.
Yeah. That's not great.
Yeah. Best game
of the
year so far was Justin Alvarez, though. Shout out.
I don't want to interrupt again, but like, you check the York score?
Oh, I'm heading over. I'm so sorry if this is a bad listen, y'all.
No, this is great.
Okay, fine. Oh!
That's my reaction.
God. York hurt.
That third inning, man.
Puts up 10 in the third quarter.
Those third quarters,
Touchdown,
man. They just get you,
goal,
especially in those 9-inning games.
Plus a couple safeties.
Yeah, like they're killing them. Like,
who imploded on the mound for Long Island?
I'm trying to find that out.
Iorio. Oh my God.
Iorio?
Wow.
Yeah. Bro, he doesn't do that.
No,
I mean, the release
like
didn't help him either, but yeah, he got slaughtered today. What the hell?
Yeah, no, he entered the game with a 3.86 ERA. He now has an ERA about 3 runs higher.
So zeros on the mound for York.
I'm checking it out.
My boy.
Oh, Raquette's so nasty. Get him out of here.
He's killing him. He's killing him today.
Pack him up. Put him on a roster.
He's working his way. Oh, wait, hold on. No, York's up still. Looks like, yeah. Fuller
1.66 ERA entering this game, and he has raised it to a 1.67. Though it's probably about a 1. It probably was a 1.67, just rounding errors.
Give him a couple innings, he'll knock it back down.
Yeah, my God, dude. Yeah, he's after it. 37 Ks in 38 innings. Not bad, my guy.
He's doing it, man. I'm telling you, he's doing it. And I thought the Staten Island Frederick score was surprising, 3-1 Staten Island. But like, I thought that was going to be the shocker of the night. And so far, that's like tame.
Staten Island's a better team than they were, though. It's becoming less shocking.
They're improving.
Like there was a point last year where them winning a series was like good. I was like, hey, don't get swept. Like, that's it. Don't get swept.
Yeah.
Now, like, they're taking 1 out of 3, and the question is, will they swipe a second game? And honestly, that is how the teams are in the Atlantic League and most of Indy Ball. Is like, most teams are good enough to take 1 out of the 3. The battle is that extra game, the third. If you're playing 3 games, not 6, but if you're playing 3, it's about, because that game is usually determined by things like bullpen depth and things like that. And like, you'll end up with those wonky Sunday scores where, they just burned out that relief pitching, and that one team, they might split Friday and Saturday, but they just they burned everything they had on Friday and Saturday. And then they get clipped 13-2 on a Sunday game. And you're like, damn, son. But I mean, that Staten Island has graduated from just get 1 to, hey, let's see if you got a shot at this series. Win 1 early, win your game early, and see if you can steal the series. That's good, man.
Yeah. I'm encouraged by him. I want to see them do well. Oh, good. Albuquerque just dropped his ERA back down to where it should be.
I'll say this if we're talking about Staten Island.
I mentioned Long Island there, but yeah, Staten Island.
Oh, well, I was still in my own little world. I didn't necessarily. If we're not talking Quackenbush, I'm not interested in Long Island pitchers. That's a lie. That sounded shady to Long Island pitchers. I just love the name Quackenbush. But I was thinking about Homer Bush.
Cool. Yeah,
and doing a good job.
Yeah,
not an easy task. So picking up a messy organization, and it's your first time out there, and first time doing Indy Ball, and like that's a huge adjustment. And he's doing well. And I would say, you know, how I think the biggest surprise in that coaching staff is the fact that, hold on, let me see here. What's it? I'm going to confirm. I want to confirm something before I say it out loud.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry about this. This is not a great listen as I sit and scroll. I'll give it that some people are going to be like, oh, this is a great podcast. And for that, I thank you. And also apologize.
People come here for the entertainment value. That's what they're here for. Kevin Krause, too, while he may he got the last laugh. And he's like, that's the thing. Like, he's not hitting for power. But in 19 games, he's hitting 339. So, like, you can't live with that.
Bro. And he was not hitting well for that first week. I'd love to see what his numbers are like since that first week. I think they could be up near like 400 or 500.
Zach Rakusin not working out is just stunning to me, too.
We need better splits from the Atlantic League. That drives me nuts.
You telling me? Like, there's a reason why when I did like the player of the week thing, it was never an Atlantic League person until every other league was done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically what the situation is. Like I'd love to be like, hey, who stood out this weekend? But no, like, not really. Hold on. I don't know. I really thought I had this figured out, but I maybe don't. So I'm gonna have to keep my mouth shut on this topic until I can get confirmation.
Yeah. Well, speaking of good pitching,
okay, Reggie Harris going to the Dock Hounds. That was there we go. I was like, I didn't have that as a fever dream. I heard rumors that he might be getting a better position than pitching coach, but he did not.
I think he was. Wasn't he a bench coach? Didn't he get named bench coach?
They said new pitching coach, but he could be bench coach, and it's just misreported.
Bench. Yeah, I thought bench because I thought Wagner was going back to be the pitching coach.
They said new pitching coach Reggie Harris, but he could also be serving as bench coach for all we know.
Okay.
Let me see.
I thought bench. Because I
mean, I thought
the deal was Huckabee was going to be the manager.
He is also the bench coach. There's your answer.
All right, because I was almost certain that when they fired Bennett, which I still don't know what's up with that Wagner was going to go back to being the pitching coach. And then they figure out the rest of the staff because then two defected after that.
Yeah, so look, I'm not going to say anything about nobody. Everybody's just trying to get a job and keep it going. But in that same spirit, if you're listening to this and you pitch for Lake Country, just don't be afraid to say no. Protect your arm. Like, it's been an issue. This is a guy who had the best, don't want to make it a him thing, but Gastonia last year had the best pitching staff in the league, and they let him walk. A month into Staten Island was like, he was looking for another gig. Like, he wasn't let go, but he was willing to take another gig in Lake Country. Yeah. So, be careful. That's what we're saying.
A little bit of a grind set.
A little bit of a grind set. You might remember that first season in Gastonia.
Oh, I remember the complaining I heard.
Mm-hmm.
But fun thing about Lake Country, they're doing it again.
Oh,
remember how last night they had a no-hitter and they lost?
Yep.
They're doing it again.
No, really?
Well, they're winning. They're up 4-1, but Tyler Pike, granted, it's only in the second inning.
Okay. You got me spin out. Like, where is the scoreboard? Okay.
Yeah. Tyler Pike's currently got the first out of the inning. So looks like there's a guy up first.
You're 4 outs in, and you're like, could it be?
I'm just saying, like, 2 days in a row giving up a run before a hit. It's very odd.
That is odd. You're right. No, that's a good point.
And Pike's walked 4 guys through an inning and a third here.
Yeah, man. Let's see. That would be 1, 2.
Come across. I gotta see. Like, good for them for being the lead here. So foul, foul.
So I hate to break it to you, it would not. Well, yeah, never mind. I was going to disappoint myself. So I was like, oh, how many straight runs have they given up since giving up a hit? But it was game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Pike had to work for that last out of the inning because apparently he walked 2 guys, got an out, then walked another guy, got an out with the sac fly. So that's how the run scored. But I'm looking here. He had to work for that final out against Osborne. Ball, foul, strike, foul, ball, foul, foul, put out.
Woo! Good Lord,
That's
son.
a long at bat.
Yeah, man. What was the count? What was that count when it hit 2 strikes?
When it hit 2 strikes finally? Let's see. It was only a 1-2 count.
Boy. That's a
tough scene. It was 3 straight foul balls, 2 balls, then 4 more fouls. We find finally a strikeout swinging.
It's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Hey, you got the K though, so you know who am I?
Yeah, let's see. What's this pitch count at?
What is that? I'm just reminding myself how that run happened.
It's gonna be a short night for him.
My guy, man, Mike Shawwarren. I always blow that name, but like, shout out though for the no. Good work.
I mean, that's still very good. I saw that. I misread the tweet. Otherwise, I would have retweeted it. But I was like, oh, he lost the bid in the bottom. Not they lost the game, but he got the no hitter, which has got to be bittersweet. That's up there with, who's the guy? Somerset. Tinsley.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect game. Loses it. Loses 1-0.
Shout out to Mike though, because Shawwarren, he had a bad game against Gary in the middle game. He's pitched 3. He has, other than that game, he's pitched 12 innings, giving up 2 runs and 1 hit.
That's solid.
Got walk problems though. Goes without saying after last night. Got some control issues, my guy. Settled it down.
5 walks, 6 innings. I mean, like, I'm getting the sense from the whole Lake Country staff. But yeah, Gary's also down right now. Which, can I just say, the Gary Railcats have a podcast too. This ran by some random guy.
Bad. Yeah, that's right. He does.
Yeah, I've started listening to it. I was like, not bad.
Nice. I'll check it out.
It's more on the rails than this, but I mean, like, hey.
Well, just about everything is.
Yeah, but is it as entertaining as this?
That's a good point. I gotta say probably. I have low faith in this episode turning out for you, but I like that you're confident. It feels good.
See, here's the thing, because I look at my numbers, and every time you come on, they go up higher. So
hell yeah, brother. Nice.
Yeah, that and also we had a Q&A question specifically saying, can Ryan come on the show more? And I was like,
make him regret it.
I was like, answer is yes, but like,
I'm in there.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, fine. He's coming on every month now.
Hey, talk about it this way. Hey, I'm back on the Mike Shawwarren thing. I haven't moved on. Other than 1 inning against Gary, he has pitched 16 innings, allowing 3 runs.
Okay, so I mean, like, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, and oddly enough, control seems to be his issue. Only 1 walk in that bad outing. Hey man, maybe keep missing them.
I can see it now. We're like a month and a half away from the Mike Shawwarren Pitcher of the Year campaign.
He is Nile Ball vibes for me. Who, by the way, shout out Nile Ball is having a great year in the Atlantic League. He looks that is a guy who literally he got an opportunity. I think he was out of baseball. I forget the exact story, but he was out of baseball and then got called up because 2021 was desperate as all hell. And he had a tough go of it in 2021. I think I was at his first or second game, actually, and it was a tough scene. Control issues, but he stuck with it. He went, year 1, he brought the ERA down to 4.63, which, if you remember that season, that was a miracle in 2021 Atlantic League. So looked good. And then last year had a 4.0 ERA. Now he's got a 4.7, but that's after a wonky outing. Like he had a 6th inning, like 1 hit outing this year. Like, dude's good. And he was walking a lot of people and hitting a lot of batters for a while. Like last year.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, he'll hit you. But this year, 2 hit batters in 23 innings. My man, Nile Ball, keeping it accurate. Yeah. Love that from him.
Can I just say that, like, Tyler Palm is an interesting dude too. 1 walk or 4 walks. That's how he works.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's interesting.
Like, if you look at his 4 starts, 5 innings, 5 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings. No runs, 2 runs, no runs, 2 runs. 6 hits, 6 hits, 1 hit, 6 hits. 1 walk, 4 walks, 4 walks, 1 walk. 4 strikeouts, 5, 6, 2. It's just so odd. Like,
it's not normal. Not normal.
Yeah. Like if you look at his, and then you look at like the Fargo start and the Lincoln start. What was it? Opponent slugging and opponent average. Exactly 300 on each of them. And if he's gotten better on base opponent, but yeah, he's just consistent, man. 1.12 ERA. So
Let's see. This also got me on a kick of trying to figure out what the hell happened with Trace Lord. We talked about it when it happened. That Trace Lord injury was tough the other day.
Oh, yeah.
In Gastonia. If y'all didn't see it, he slid in. Great catch. Caught the ball, by the way, while he's suffering an injury where he was in excruciating pain. That's a baller right there. But slides in, hits the dugout. And I couldn't tell clearly in the angle, and I wasn't going to rewatch it a whole bunch because it sounded like it wasn't pretty. But he caught, I think, the leg might have caught both this little cement that sticks up of the dugout steps because turf fields are the devil. And I think it also might have caught the railing, padded railing, but like the post of the dugout, like screened portion. And I don't know, man. I know it was bad. He was down like substantially. And like the thing too is like and this is like me thinking about the like personal side of things. He's like a successful YouTuber, if I'm correct.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like he's like got this account, like Baseball Bat Bros, has like 424,000 subscribers. If that's the same one, which what are the odds it's not? I don't know him well enough to be able to like get him by sight because I last year wasn't going to Lancaster games, so because I was in Kentucky. But yeah, like I'm like, bro, you might just lost 2 different income sources unless you can really make that like a rehab account.
He may be able to. Could probably spin it.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see here.
Yeah, but speaking of,
go ahead.
Speaking of horrific leg injuries, Max Murphy's rebounded pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was out of the
leg in the playoff game.
That's right. That did happen. That's genuinely horrifying to me.
Yeah, what was it? Like collision with Boskin at home?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, losing the MVP of the year. I mean, that's not great, but like he's bounced back pretty solid. 273, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. Not bad. 7 walks. No stolen bases though, so that'll be the true test.
How old is he?
I don't know. Hold on, let me just click his profile.
Because I think about it, like with that trace injury. Like I'm looking at the thing that sucks is all right. He's going to lose that season. He doesn't rake, but like if he was going to get it to like if he brought it together, hit 300 rest of the year, could have made a push to get one last shot on the roster. He's 28 though. If he's not going to be fully healthy to mid 29. That sucks, dude.
Murph
that's a bum, man.
Is 30.
It's tough.
November 92. So
not writing you off though, my guy. It's all right. It
sucks too because he was coming off of 2 really solid seasons. Obviously, 22 was significantly better than 21, but batting average pretty much the same. He just hit like freaking 20 more home runs with 20 more RBIs. Walks exactly the same though.
There you go.
Exactly the same. 27 walks each time. So he's on a good pace right now to get above that 27 walk mark.
Nice. But, yeah, I mean, this is where it starts to frustrate me. The contract purchasing fees that leagues have, which we've discussed before. I've discussed at length on my show. Like it bothers me because say we're paying $15,000 for a player.
Yeah.
First of all, that's nothing to these MLB teams. So let's not be like, oh, it's too expensive for them. They're cheap. Call it what it is. But considering they are cheap, though, it sucks that a guy. If you're going to take a shot on an indie ball guy who you think might have potential, when your options are a younger guy who you can put in your system and actually you see something in him and you can actually develop it and take that time, it's one thing. But like if you're 28 or older, man, teams are probably not going to roll the dice on that, and it sucks.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me too. I got a DM a couple of days ago, about a week ago actually, that was pretty much asking. Like, why is it whenever we see contracts get purchased, it's always pitchers and never position players? And I kind of had to tell them, like, hey, because position players, normally there's someone already in that position that the club kind of invested in, whether that be money or draft pick or something like that. And pitching's hard to come by. And at worst case scenario, the 10 to 15 G's it's going to cost to pick up a pitcher, you could just have them burn out their arm and save the stud that you're paying like a $5 million signing bonus to his arm for meaningless time in the middle of the year. So essentially you're just buying innings. So that's kind of it. Sometimes it actually matters, but like more often than not, they're like, worst case scenario, we just saved our stud's arm. And best case scenario is we've got a decent pitcher here. That's kind of it. Pitching's just hard to find.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the fact that I mean, it's so much harder to utilize a hitter. I mean, it has to be a position that you have an opening in. I mean, it's probably got to be young so you can start them real far down there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's too much of a fee to pay for just a filler. You'll get some Latin American kid and underpay him terribly to do that. It's a tough one. It's such a narrow gap if you're a hitter. Now, pitchers too, like, and you got to consider pitchers are only going to get more prevalent for picking guys up because I don't even, this is weird, but like if I'm an MLB team and I see a guy strike out like really on like 17 Ks per 9 through 3 or 4 starts, I don't even need to see video, but I'll check it because I'm not responsible. But I wouldn't even need to see video if I'm them to know something's nasty there. Yeah. And he's just that worth grabbing because then with the current technology, the way things have gotten for pitchers where they can hone in and perfect that grip, that release point, really tunnel get the tunneling going and get that, like, get him one more pitch. Like I mean, you'd hope certain organizations in particular are going to be like, let's see if he throws a sweeper. Like, you know, it's so much easier to make a guy. And like, if you're talking, all you need for a stud reliever is 2 pitches. And if that reliever gives you 2 good months at the major league level ever, he's worth it. Like you can see how pitchers are so much easier to pick up. I mean, my philosophy, and I try not to verbalize it, but I'm far enough away from baseball operations now, is if you're a relief pitcher, I'm sorry, brother, like I view you as a lottery ticket, and that's a good thing for some of you and it's a bad thing for other ones. But like, I'm from the philosophy of anybody can get hot. If you have one good pitch, you might as well bring a guy out there and let him sling it. And you'll just keep, you know, when someone goes cold, you let him go, you bring in another one and you see who's hot. And like, that's not a popular opinion, but that is kind of how, especially at these levels where you don't need long-term contracts, that's kind of how relievers work. Not a lot of teams do operate that way. I understand that's more of a cold-hearted, terrible way to go. And I am primarily a pro player, you know, show. But so again, that's why I don't encourage it. But like, that is also how a lot of these major league teams see pitchers. And that's why they had to put a rule in place to keep them from like just sending the same dudes up and down and getting fresh arms, because they had so many arms that could compete at the major league level in the bullpen that they could just do that. Yeah. Sorry, that's a whole sidebar. But what I'm saying is, if you are trying to get signed as a position player in Indy Ball, I mean, make sure you have something that no one else has, because that's kind of what's going to take. You got to be bringing like Josh Sala type power or something crazy like that. Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Like getting guys like Adam Brett Walker to Japan is like kind of the highlight there. Who's also doing very well in Japan, by the way. Oh, sorry, I just got a notification. Tonight's game, Pecos League, the Cowboys Roswell game was postponed due to poor field conditions. Fascinating. Oh, speaking of weird postponement, Roswell, was it raining? It's Roswell. Oh, are we talking NoCo? No, I mean, we could talk NoCo. We definitely could go there. But I was going to mention that there was a fire at the Valley Cat Stadium. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it postponed the game, power outage. Really? Wow. Yeah, it was only a short delay. It was a short delay. It's the middle of 6th inning, the power went out. Oof. Yeah, not great. Yeah, I was watching it from work, like watching the tweets. So I was like, I didn't know that that it was, you know, at that point in the game. That's fascinating. That's an awkward interaction. Yeah. I think Lexi had a couple of fire alarms go off last year during games. Yeah, that's actually exactly what happened. Estonia maybe did. That's what happened with Valley Cats. Fire alarm went off, was going off for like a half hour. Fire department showed up, turned the thing off. Apparently there was a small fire. They put it out, and then the power went out in the 6th. Damn. That's a tough one. Yeah, the fire alarm was going off before the game, though. But the problem is today was their Darryl Strawberry game. So Straw was there beforehand doing a meet and greet. That sucks. Yeah, and throwing out the first pitch and all that. So I don't know how that all went. But yeah. Good for Strawberry getting out there, though. Like, I'm fine with that. Sorry, I'm just checking here. So I'm sorry, I'm like fascinated by Roswell field condition stuff. Something must have happened last night where they took issue with it, because, and I'll have to maybe do a deep dive into something, but because it not like it rained. Like I could be understanding if like Roswell's not a big tarp field, but I mean there was like maybe like 0.3 inches of rain at like 2 a.m. Okay. So I'm fascinated by whatever the hell just caused. By the way, 90 degrees right now in Roswell. Caliente. 36-degree wind, maybe that, or 36 mile per hour wind, maybe that's something to do with it. But like, it could be dust storms or something crazy. I'll have to do some digging on that one. But to the point, I am fascinated by all weird delays and things like that. The mound thing, I didn't want to like make it an anti-Lexington thing last year, but like I was going to talk about it no matter what, because I'm sorry, we're not playing because it's a hole in the mound. Amazing. Indy ball is hell.
I mean, really, that, like, I think NOCO is like the most Indy ball way of doing things, where the ballpark itself looks like a D2 college stadium. And like, I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. It's a really nice park. It's just like doesn't look like a professional park from like a couple of pictures I've seen of it. And the fact you didn't think maybe we need this extra stanchion light over home plate is kind of an interesting thought process.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I mean, I just DM'd you, but like, did you talk NOCO last week?
I did. No, I think I mentioned it briefly. That like the lights were an issue. I definitely didn't talk about the thing that was yesterday, which was they had to postpone it due to heat or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that was what it was.
It was weather or something. I thought it was a fire thing. I don't know for certain, though. I don't want to say that without knowing it for certain. I remember it was weather, but.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's.
Oh, wow. I have a DM sitting here that's been like a request. So we won't read any more of that. But yeah, so that was who sent that. Okay, never mind. I was just sending my DMs for like since Tuesday. My bad, dude. But,
I don't know. Oh my god, boy, NOCO cannot catch a break. I think they're maybe on the. Where are they at? Are they home right now? They are home right now.
They had to be home, yeah.
Dude, they got severe thunderstorm warning. Guess who's not finishing that game tonight?
Oh hell no, they're doing that.
No way. They're playing in it.
That whole situation's bad. I feel bad.
And you know what? And that's what frustrates me. Like, I'm sure the coaches probably were told new facility, all that, yada, yada. Like, I'm sure the players were also like told that. And then they show up and we're like, damn.
Oh my God. Did you see underneath the tweet that said extreme weather, no game?
Let me check it.
This one dude, he posted a picture. He posted a picture outside the complex. I think it's outside the complex. Clear skies.
Oh. Dang. Hey, is that? It was made by both teams' head coaches at 5 p.m. as it was not safe in Windsor around the field. We made the best decision when considering player and fan safety. What was the weather situation? Let me pull up a little weather.
Fire.
Are we a weather pod now? Let's go.
You bet your ass we are.
All right, let me pull what Weather Underground had going on last night at 5. Whoa, it's been wild. That's for sure. I'm just looking at temperature though, so what do I know?
Weather.
20. Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Severe thunderstorm 2 days ago.
Oh, I'm back in. I'm not even here.
Northern Colorado, right all around Fort Collins and down to Loveland. Not quite making it out to Greenlee.
Yeah. It's
let's see. 1 day ago expires in 22 hours. Severe thunderstorm warning for west central Weald and southeastern Larimer County.
Okay, I got some detail.
Yeah.
Here we go. So based on the weather report, so the 5 o'clock game was called. There was no rain all day except for 0.15 inches per hour of rain at 4:56 p.m. So right around the 5 o'clock line. It stopped raining right after that. That's not on them. Okay. But in that time between 4 p.m. and 4:43 p.m., the temperature dropped 15 degrees and the wind went. At 3 p.m. there was like maybe 9 mile per hour wind gusts and zero wind to like 37 mile per hour wind. Okay, that'll do it. So, yep, I will give NOCO a pass on that one. Yep, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Pack it up.
All right. Yeah, they could then say that, like, just say excessive wind conditions.
They're being all sketchy about stuff because they're all sensitive now. They're not allowing comments on Instagram because they know they're going to get clowned. Hey, own it. Like, here's the thing: if it's going to be a mess, make it a joke. Like, I would just, lean in. Like, I know nobody wants to make themselves look like a joke, but if you lean in, there's a way to go about it. Like, honestly, sorry to talk about Lexington again, but like the way we leaned into the genomes thing last year on social media and just like played with it, and that kind of helped the reception. Like, there is a way to do it. Like, make it like daylight specials or something, like t-shirts that say like don't come home until the lights come on or something, like the old like putting your kid out in the neighborhood. Like there's opportunity there. It's
trying
not
to make a night owls type of joke here.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right there. You're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Without putting much thought into it, you could either just go easy day owls or no night owls.
I'm not trying to act like the expert on things. I'm sure in the moment it's very hard. It's a very difficult thing to like try to navigate. But like I'm also like,
yeah, especially when you're newer there too, because that's only their second season in Northern Colorado because they were in Orem, Utah before that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're trying to build it out, new field there. I get it, but I mean they handled it well. Like that's the thing me and Will said last week was like, all things considered, like they handled the light situation well. The statement, the way they then took care of the people with tickets, like all in all, it felt
good
fine.
Apology. Yeah, you were right. The statement was good.
Yeah. So like you can have a little fun with it because people know like you're good. You made your serious statement for people there. So now you go ahead and capitalize on it because the rest of the Pioneer League does a good job with that.
Yeah, I've said before, I'm impressed by the marketing job the Pioneer League does, for sure. I mean, they're going to have some challenges, I think, at some point, because they do have deals with Major League Baseball. I think that's running out. I think after this year, might have even been before. I'm a little fuzzy on that one, but it'll be interesting to see how things go after that, what the funding looks like, and what the momentum looks like. I think that's also related to why you see a lot of random Pioneer League guys get signed, too. But,
yeah, true.
We'll see.
They're an interesting they're both. But speaking of Pioneer League stuff, because we screwed him last week on the preview, because when we started that preview, I had about 30 or so minutes to get to work, and we had a lot of stuff we had to get through, so we were cutting that thing short. So I apologize to Pioneer League people, because I was harsh to you last week, but Boise's doing really well. 6-2. Good for them.
Yep.
One of the few teams I actually got the preview done for.
Yeah, dude. Previews are a struggle.
Yeah. Preview season just sucks so much.
Well,
it's like at first it's fun, but then it gets real bad real quick.
Yeah. I mean, making this Orion pod for a second.
Yeah.
My issue has been, I knew I had to expand how I did the previews and projections. And it was taking too much time because I was just worried about the Atlantic League. That's not bad. So I was like, all right. So I basically had to reinvent how I do that, check all that, test it. Okay. And then at that point I was starting in like preseason doing previews. And what I'm realizing is like what I should have done is just done projections for everybody, like grab 10 a day from random teams, like just 10 to 15 guys a day the moment the seasons are over, and start doing projections because they don't change. And then you can apply them to whatever team they end up on. And I did not. And that's how Ryan ended up in a bad situation. So talk about living and learning, and probably I'll still make the same mistake, but that's what that is.
The problem for me is I don't really do anything that's special for the preview. I just take the rosters from each of the teams, throw them in an Excel doc with like relevant stats from the past year. And I just kind of look at that and then gauge it off of last year's stats. So like where the team finished as a team stat for like home runs, for this, for that, and then compare that to the ballpark conditions. So that way I can kind of go, all right, no one hits home runs here. They kind of knew that. They have like 2 power hitters, and the rest of them are all like average guys. And then just kind of look to see where the guy played last year, and then kind of, do the math in my head pretty much. So I can't really do that until I have rosters, because like I learned after year 1 of trying to be on top of it, off-season signings don't really mean much because half these guys are going to get cut before opening day. So don't waste your time just loading all this in.
And the big signings are waiting to see if they make an MLB spring training.
Exactly.
Yep.
So there's no way you can really get ready for it. You just have to wait for like the last 2 or 3 days and then go on a blitz and do like 15 teams in 2 days. And they each take like 90 minutes to like 45 minutes if you're efficient with it to do. So you're doing the math and you're like, that's going to be like 10 hours of work I got to do across 5 days, which really isn't that bad. But how much time do you really have to just sit down and do it? And how much mental stamina do you have to sit and go from an Excel doc to Baseball Reference to like Wikipedia to find like ballpark dimensions? Because a lot of teams just don't put ballpark dimensions on their website, which is just annoying. Also, by the way, Kane County's now down 2. It's 5-3. They have 1 hit, so they've gotten 3 runs on 1 hit.
Hey, at least they did it the honest way. They got a hit this time around.
Fair. That's fair. Also, Milwaukee's beating the hell out. Oh God, it's 7-1 now over Gary. All those nice things we said about Gary may have to take back.
I know they have been sliding a little bit. They did start hot.
Yeah, I gotta give them credit though. They did better than I thought. Yeah, Irwin had a bad start. 3 1/3, 5 earned.
Yeah.
On base 16. Not good. Not good, boys.
I'll say it though. Tucson and Austin are back at it tonight, so I know I'll be watching that game.
Yep. So, what are your thoughts on the Flow Sports thing? Because I refuse to pay for it. I'm not paying for it. Also, Gastonia game went final.
Oh wow, that was quick game.
7-4 Gastonia.
Fair enough.
And Frederick took a lead. They scored 4 in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, man, that offense will explode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Flow Sports.
Thoughts on it? I have it. Shout out to whoever helped me get that hookup, but I was not about to pay for it. Let's be honest. But the first thing to be clear on is Flow Sports does not do the broadcast.
Yeah.
They host the broadcast. So I feel bad because I was critical of it just because I was frustrated first couple of days in particular before I settled in a little bit. But like, if it's a bad broadcast, like it's probably because it's a bad broadcast before Flow Sports was involved anyway. Okay. So that's part one. Now with that, Flow Sports is too expensive. And especially when you consider that the broadcast that they're hosting is not very good, that's an issue. So I think if it is going to be that price, and if the teams are going to work with Flow Sports, I think Flow Sports also, I mean, not Flow Sports, the teams involved also need to take responsibility for their broadcasts in a way that reflects the fact that they are getting money from Flow Sports for these deals. That reflects the fact that the fans watching, as few as there may be, are paying good money. More at times than you would pay for like a homestand of tickets. And be cognizant of the fact that if you okay, who knows how much viewership's got to be low. It's got to be bad.
Yeah.
But if it is that bad, putting on a good product will, like we said with Jackal's attendance previously and Sioux Falls attendance, begin to bring more people in. And it comes down to, though, just, I think, respect to the fans. And that's always what's bothered me. It's so dismissive. It's understanding that they sacrificed what is good for the fans for their own money. And it's probably not even a long-term deal. Well, maybe it is, but I
can see it being long-term.
Yeah, it probably. But it's just frustrating to see them take the payday when so much of it is based on, the fans. And maybe because of the payday, maybe it's now less based on those ticket sales. Maybe they don't stress as much about the ticket sales side. I mean, ticket sales have been down. You could argue we're heading recession bound, and that's going to be shortening it up a little bit more unless you've nicely established your value. And maybe that's why this move was made by these leagues at this time. But I definitely find it frustrating. And I know the potential is high with Flow because Flow Racing is actually quite good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just the same bad broadcast, but for much more money.
Yeah. See, I've went on my rants with them before. I didn't realize that I kind of assumed that the teams are going to be the ones that are putting it on. The Flow was just going to slap their brand on it. Probably tells the graphics package to them. But it just, the price point is what gets me. It's just, it's way too much. Like, I just don't get it. I get it, but like at the same point in time, I just don't understand, what's the benefit unless the payout is that big to the leagues. If the payout is enough to justify it, then great. But otherwise, it's, I've said my piece on them before, but interesting little bit because I just was looking around scoreboards to see if there's any other interesting bits we want to talk about, which the more and more we do this podcast, the more and more I'm realizing that we really should just have like one weekly like live stream that goes on for 2 hours just talking about random games going on around the league. But
that's what I'm eventually going to have. I'm finally getting into doing episodes again this week. Sorry if you're a follower of my show. I've not been posting episodes. It's because I have ADD and I've been very busy at work. Bad combo.
That's never good. But if you want to find a fun box score to gawk at real quick, swing over to the Boulder Empire State Gray game and look how Empire State scored their runs.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
Yeah. Tucker Nathan's also just hit a bomb in the bottom of the 4th, too, by the way.
Damn. All right.
Love to see Tucker do well.
The old Tuck job.
Yeah, dude.
That's different. God. That's a different party.
Is it similar to Tuck Tucker?
Tuck Tucker, man. Keep it Tuck Tucker.
I need to see Tucker Nathan hit a bomb off of Tuck Tucker.
Yeah, that feels like a space-time continuum issue. Sorry, I just got over. I was like deep in the Frontier League schedule. 9, okay, gave up an 8 spot in the first. Tough scene, Empire State. Boy, talk about a killer. Sorry. How did they score their runs? That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the first inning, I would just go homer to right for the Boulders, double to left, scores a couple, double to center, double to right center, double to right. Jesus, single. Okay, Empire State, fielder's choice, advanced to second on a throwing error, and then a homer.
But did you read the type?
Park.
There you are. And inside the park, 3-run home run.
3-run homer. The hell happened there?
I told you, man. This is a fun box score. You got to use your Flow Sports and go back and look at it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do. It's got to be garbage fire.
Got to take the clip and toss it on there.
You want to talk about a bad situation, though? If you're Empire State, Empire State having. I'm just checking where they're heading from here.
My God!
The schedule for the Frontier League is tough.
Geddes, man. While you're pulling that up, Zach Geddes was a dude on the mound. They didn't let him stay in there for the full 8 innings or full 8 runs in the first inning. He took 52 pitches to get out of it.
You have to. That's the thing.
I get it, but that's just an act.
They're going to Tri-City after this. And
they're not going to win. Well, I don't want to say they're not going to win there. They got their first win there, which I would have. That's what I should have asked Pete when we had him on the show. I should have asked him, what was the mood in the room after you guys lost to Empire State?
That's not a fun one.
Yeah. I think he would have given me an answer too.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Pete doesn't care. He'll just be like, oh, we weren't happy.
Yeah. Where the hell did this go? So that's one. They're going to Tri-City. That is what I was actually about to look up to if they had kept the pitcher in there. I mean, you got to. It sucks, but if you're on Empire State, you're going to get hung out there sometimes. It's our man. You're on the bus ride team. You got to preserve. Heading back to standings real quick. My bad on that headache. Okay. Yeah. Empire State. The reason you got to fight that fight is because you need to win 1 out of 3 games. You have to win a game each series. If you win 1 out of 3, that's going to put you probably in a battle for 7th. But if you steal a couple second games here and there, now you might be in a battle for 6th or 5th. And with that weird Frontier League playoff where a bunch of teams get in, maybe you have a shot eventually, or at least you're respectable.
Frontier's normal.
Yeah, how many do they have again? Oh my God.
3 per division.
3 per division. That's right. Yeah. So it's hard to get in.
You're not
getting in. You're just fighting for any win you can. I get that. But also with that, you're going to have to hang someone out to dry because wins are so hard to come by. You can't eat this loss after 8 runs in the first and then give away tomorrow. You just can't do it.
Yeah. Not a great day. Pike's giving up hits now. Now he's starting to get tagged.
God.
By 4. Yeah.
I've seen. I want Empire State to do well. I'm putting this out there to anybody from Empire State who could be listening. I'm trying to get on the bus with y'all for a week this year. So we'll see.
I keep saying, and I know why leagues don't want to do it. I understand why leagues don't want to do it. But if you made content about the road team, traveling with the road team, going through and showing the grind, I'm telling you that would do ratings. I get why you don't want to do it because it's a bad optic. I get it. But the numbers it would do.
And it doesn't have to be a bad optic because it's all in how you do it. People are so afraid of the big picture, but they don't think about it. It's about how you shine the light on it. If you do a good job featuring the stories of the guys, it will be about the stories and not about the big topic. The big topic of the bus rides will just be sort of the through line. And then throughout it, you're visiting every Frontier League park. You're visiting every team. You can feature a different team every time. Some of the stars on those, like the product, the interesting things about each ballpark, why fans should go. Now you're selling tickets around the league as this team travels. They're a traveling marketing thing. And then maybe people actually want to go see the Empire State Rays when they're in town, and that sells more tickets. I'm telling y'all, that is a move. I have this thought of doing those single shot ones where you kind of have the diary cam thing set up in the back of the bus. Oh, dude, that's a great idea.
The optic of that, where you can even set them up so that way you have a window kind of in view. Obviously, that's going to suck for the shot because now you're messing with the lighting on it. But you could go ahead and have the countryside going by in the background and whatnot. Follow these dudes around each of the cities and whatnot. I have this whole view, maybe not Hard Knocks, but I'm not sure you remember when they did the 24/7, the Road to the Winter Classic kind of thing. That kind of thing. I have that in mind, man.
Yeah, and mic up some guys. have some fun with it. Yep. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I do. And I really think too, if you get the right personalities, like you don't need to do Savannah Bananas, but you can get some good personalities that stand out. And like, you know what will feel good for the Empire State guys? If anybody is asking for their autographs like consistently, like that's sick. So here's a thing I'll say. Then I unfortunately have to wrap, and I hope we didn't just waste a ton of time on this pod. But I'm enthralled by the concept of the Road Warriors in the Atlantic League. I've done a deep dive into how that was supposed to work and how it got messed up by certain teams not playing and being team players about how that was supposed to happen. But
I have a guess on which teams it was.
Oddly enough, I know who you're going to say, and it wasn't necessarily them. They were a main backer of the concept, and they were pretty mad when teams weren't playing along. Yeah,
I guess it makes sense considering, but like.
Well, when you remember that the person who is funding most of this is also the one who is signing off on the ideas, they don't want to see the idea become an embarrassment.
Fair. Yes. Fair.
So there's that. But I have always been so into it. I've done enough baseball operations where like I know the contract stuff. I will put this out publicly, and I'll put it out there on mine too. If anybody's running a travel team in one of the indie leagues, I will do your baseball operations, and I'll do it for minimal pay because I'm fascinated and I'm down, but I got to get some creative freedom on it. But like, I'd be about it. I think it's such a unique challenge. I think it could be so cool. I think there's a way to do it that it won't, hey, we're not breaking 500, Poppy, but like could be a good time. I'm like passionate about that. I've said that for years. Like when there was a possibility of a Road Warriors team rather than the Genomes, and I was already heading into Lexington, I was already speaking up like, yo, put that team in my hands. It's fine. I'll do it. Like I want it so bad. I think it's really cool. And I think it's like the most wild, like throwback barnstorming vibe you can have. Man, shame that the barnstormer's name is already taken.
Yeah. I mean, I read that book though.
I always think of that book, Only Rules It Has to Work.
Yeah. The St. Paul one. Yeah.
And
no. Oh, think of the other one. The one with, what was it? The Pacifics.
Yes.
Because I know it was a Pacific Association team. I don't remember which one, but I think it was like the Pacifics.
Yep. Ben Lindbergh and Sam Miller. Sam Miller, by the way, I'll shout out every time, is one of the best baseball writers out there. But he, that's where they took only analytics and ran an entire Pacific Association team with analytics only. But the catch was like a stereotypical Moneyball vibe. The manager was not with it. He was like, nah, dude, don't like it. Yeah. So, it was like, it was a really interesting story, but I do think kind of that energy will be fine. Made the playoffs too. Almost won the championship.
So did it work?
Kind of. I mean, look, playoffs are coin flips. So if you lose in the playoffs, it's what it is. But
how come everybody I bring on here as a guest or as a co-host always says the same thing?
Because it is finally being realized by people. You cannot gauge your success by what happened when you were in the playoffs. You got to gauge it by whether you made it.
Also, by the way, Corral Prime's pitching tonight.
Yeah, and that was a really bad overlook for me. I didn't realize that he's doing all that.
Yeah, no, he's doing pretty. Oh, this isn't great.
Not going
well. Well, no, he's doing fine right now. Oh, he got out of it. Okay, bases. Yeah, I think it was a bases low situation. I just clicked on, and I'm not really familiar with the point streak live game, but I think it was a bases low situation. Base hit out, base hit. It was bases low situation, but he got out of it. There was 2 outs. He got Achenbach to strike out. Nice. But
I'm just looking like.
Do you have anything interesting else? Because I know you have. Oh, Milwaukee just made it 10-1. Anything else interesting before I do the plug so that way you can leave?
Not really, man. This was a garbage fire, but I appreciate it, man. I had a good time.
Honestly, I'm telling you, we need to do an Indy Ball Tonight show. That's really the fun thing.
So my concept, what we're aiming for on Indy Ball Nation side of things is to do 2 weekly episodes where one is recapping the weekend on Monday, and that'll be more in depth because it's Monday. You got more wiggle room on time. The other one's like a quick episode Thursday night and Friday morning talking about like the series that just happened, previewing the weekend series, and then getting out there, no extra topics. And bro, like I'd be down to just live stream Thursday one, because then no editing. It's just the vibe, because you already got to wait till the West Coast games are over. God, punch me in the face.
That's what keeps me from doing the series reviews. Honestly, like I want to do a daily one for scores and whatnot. I'm just like, they're not done till like 1 a.m. I'm not going to start editing together graphics at 1 a.m. That's just not going to happen. I'm not going to do it in the morning either. So like, I just scrapped that whole idea. But honestly, like I'm down for like a live stream idea on like a Thursday. Just pick like, honestly, you can even do like a red zone thing where you just jump around, look at different things and just kind of shoot the shit for
just
it. Or
commentate it?
Yeah, pretty much.
You mean what we just did for the last half hour?
Pretty much, yeah. This is really good. Honestly, this is either going to go great or horribly. I don't know which it is, but it's definitely going to be one or the other. I'm just doing one last check.
Let us know. You don't need to give Nick the negative feedback. You can send it to me. It's okay. But yeah, like I am interested.
If you want.
I think we're both kind of open to new like formats, and I'm trying to find my format still that works great for like the kind of stuff I like to talk about. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it's a vibe, and I might just experiment with doing that kind of episode and seeing what happens. Like do like just a late night. Like that's what it should be. Oh my God, that's how I'm going to do it. Sorry, I just had a moment. I think it's going to be talking about the series that have wrapped up, American, Frontier, ALPB, and just like live look in audio version of the Pioneer and the Pecos.
Like that's a legit Indy Ball After Dark show?
Yeah, like real sexy like that.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Oh, if you want a game to watch right now, when we wrap this up, Quebec Miners. It was 3-3, and then Profar just hit a single jack, give him the lead top of the 8th.
He said, "Check that out."
He read the tweet from their GM saying our bullpen's good, and was like, "They are they?" Tell Tyler Thornton that, who got tagged for 3 in the morning, and then Adams was the one that gave up the shot, but Thornton had a decent start, 5 2/3. Yeah.
Wait, no, who said that? You're not talking about Quebec. You're talking about.
No, I'm talking about Quebec, Sussex County right now.
Who said the bullpen was good?
Their GM. GM tweeted out.
The Sussex GM?
Yeah. You didn't see the tweet?
Oh, all right. No,
yeah, he tweeted their bullpen stats.
I don't know why I thought you were talking Scalabrini. I was like, that's a bold choice from him. He doesn't usually do that.
Yeah, no, Scalabrini, he's dead quiet.
Yeah.
He's confident, but he's quiet. You don't say shit.
Guy, your roster better be good. You took a bunch of the guys from the Jackals.
Yes. Well, no, other way around, I think it was. Jackals, Bobby took his guys. Like, they have some Jackals, but like, as far as in the lineup.
I guess so.
They got Agresti from him, but like, their bigger thing is they brought back Stupinski. They brought in Will Zimmerman, who I've been high on since I saw him in Quebec, or not Quebec, Fargo. And then they brought in some other guys, like Jawan Harris is pretty good. Escala is pretty good. But yeah, like pitchings they're normally decent on. But yeah, no, Sejimino, he's like minor bullpen ERA of 1.07 on the season and a whip of 0.76 in 15 games. Myers will look to take the series at Skyline Stadium tonight at 7:05. That was yesterday, May 31st. They did not, in fact, take the series.
No. I'm so interested in relief versus starting stats. I love that's one of my favorite grid charts, which is like ERA, like one of those ones where it's like like a quad chart where on one side you have what the relief ERA is, and on the other you have what the starting ERA is. So if you're like top corner, you're great on both. I would love to do that, but nobody has a good split. Like nobody has an easy to work with split like that, and I hate it. Anyway.
In any case, I should probably let you get out of here. So
probably. My wife's
let me hit my plugs, and you can hit your plugs, and then we can leave.
Hell yeah, I got some weird plugs today, so it's perfect.
Oh, awesome! So I'm looking forward to that. So let me get my stuff out of the way. So this wraps up our basically conversational show. Every time Ryan comes on, we just kind of talk, and you guys seem to like it. So hopefully we'll continue to do that. Thanks for coming on.
Why? Oh yeah, I'm around.
Yep. So you want to find the show, you can go ahead, do so. Twitter and Indy Ball Pod, on Instagram, Indy Ball Report. It's very weird for me not to say a second thing. It's so weird because I've just been like for 3 years saying at ALPB_news, even though Will hasn't done that in like 18 months. But like, it's still weird for me not to plug that. So don't go there anymore. It's dead. But Indy Ball Pod or Indy Ball Report, pretty much everywhere. Website, indyballreport.com. Got show notes, got episodes, got other stuff. Go there. Ryan's got plugs. I'm interested to hear them because he said they were weird. So go.
We
go
dropped
plug.
the ball. we dropped the ball super bad because we didn't even talk about the fact that you and I have like the first sort of like combined Indy Ball top 10 poll going on. That'll be a weekly
It's bad too.
What?
I have my notes open on the page, and like the middle thing is Indy Ball rankings.
Yeah, we should we'll talk about it. Like we should have some sort of like side project, like maybe a 10-minute conversation every week about the rankings.
I just got a good idea for this ranking thing. We can incorporate it into the live stream. End the live stream by announcing the rankings for the week.
Not bad. I like doing it on Monday though.
True.
It gives me the time. It gives me a little bit of time where like only a few teams play. Sorry to shoot that down, but that Monday I cherish. It drives me nuts that the American Association likes dropping like a one Monday night game or like one Monday afternoon. I'm like, yo, could you not do that?
Like, I get why they're doing it because it's easy.
Oh, I love it. I do because I like having baseball too. Like,
but like at the same time, it's like I got like 20 games on any given night. Like, guys, come on.
And I'm trying to
break.
And I'm really trying to like do good up-to-date stats and like never fails. Like it'll be some pitcher pitching in the game who I want to talk about how well he's doing. But I know if I say it and then I record it as he's pitching, he's going to get shelled for 8 large and I'm going to be, looking like an idiot. So it's always a mess. But that's the first thing. So you and I will figure out kind of the best format on that, but I like the way we did it. So that's good.
I think
it's very well received. Yeah. If we're talking about inconvenient American Association schedules, shout out to Matt Yazel, the guy doing their whip around right now. Like him, he's good, knows his stuff. But moving right along, I will say first and foremost, plug in my stuff at Indy Ball Nation on like whatever. So Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, managed to get it all on the same page, which is cool. The Spotify and whatever other podcast platforms, and there should be an episode hopefully recorded tonight. We'll see. This one later than I thought. It's gonna be a close call, but whatever. Beyond that, I got a weird request here, and this is what I said was gonna be a weird one. I personally work heavily off of the stat win probability added. And you might be like, Ryan, why are we saying this now? This isn't what this part of the show is for. I'm going to use this to plug the fact that I'm trying to put together some sort of thing that will track win probability added, like the basically odds of winning that are increased by a player during the course of a game / season. However, you have to like strip the info and data from like play by play to get that. And I am not talented enough to do that. So if anybody out there thinks they have the skill set to do that, and help me out and honestly donate your time because your boy, if I start spending any more money on Indy Ball than the tickets and travel I do, I think I might return home to not a wife. So I need
don't worry, I'm going into family law. We could help you.
Excellent work. Well, I'll keep on speed dial, my guy. So yeah, definitely, let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. And if not, that's okay. I didn't expect this to work out anyway, but I'm trying out here.
It's worth a shot. I mean, just like right now, if you look at Staten Island right now, they got the bases loaded, 1 away. York's kicking the crap out of Long Island, but Staten Island's in position to win. Good for them.
Dude, 1 out of every 3, man.
Yeah.
It's just a question what happens to that middle game.
Hey, bases loaded, 1 away, split count. Brady Feigl on the hill. 1-run game.
Before I sign off, I'm going to see if I'm right about something because that'll be a nice way for me to end. Let's see. But I don't think. Oh man, why is it impossible to find results?
The hell out of them.
The Atlantic League needs to get together, big dog.
Yeah. That was the other thing I was going to bring up that we didn't get time to get to, but I'm going to get to another one, which is the worst league to handle the social media.
No, the Atlantic League.
See, I'm almost tempted to go Frontier. They never post anything.
Nope, you're right. Because the teams are better, it covers it. The teams are better at posting. Yep.
Yeah. No, so they just kind of give it to the teams. They tried. I will admit it. And I met some of the social media people over there at the Frontier. And they're nice. But I don't really know like what the league directive is. But
I don't think they know either. And I think, that's a different attitude too. Like the Pioneer League has sort of that we're all going the same direction thing. And I think, other leagues are more hesitant or they just don't have that kind of leverage because there's sort of inner conflict within the league. Yeah. And that kind of affects the product that ends up going out there. I'm really not going to be able to find this. What's that? Oh, God, why? Let me see. I'm trying to find hey, Atlantic League, if you could get like a convenient schedule with results on it, that'd be sick.
Oh, what I can find that.
Yeah, not with that attitude. Well, there is one. There's one site, and I can literally not remember the name of our Sports Central.
That
Shout out to
one.
Outsport Central, which has the most random collection of like articles and stuff. I barely know who it's from. I barely know who's running it, but shout out because you have bailed me out so many times on trying to find like recent like streaks in the Atlantic League because they don't handle it like adults.
Balls of steel moment in the Sussex game. There was 2 runners on, both in scoring position with 2 away. Adams gets the final guy to strike out swinging.
Balls of steel moment should be like a future band name.
Walk off.
Oh, very good one.
I'm going to keep doing albums for that.
My theory was correct though. Like Staten Island, remember I said they've improved to be that team that takes 1 game a series and they fight for a second one. So started out with that loss against Charleston, then had 2 rainouts. Doesn't count. They took 1 of 3 against Long Island. They did get swept by York, but then they went 1 of 3 with Southern Maryland, 2 of 3 with Long Island, 2 of 3 with Lancaster, 1 of 3 with Southern Maryland, 1 of 3 with Long Island, 1 of 3 with Lexington, and might have been 2 of 4 with Lexington. So that's a plot twist. And then 1, they're going for 2 right now with Frederick. So like that's it. They don't sweep. They ain't gonna sweep you.
But like they may not, but they just had like what the hell?
They're not gonna.
They had like bases loaded with 1 out, and they got a sacrifice double play.
Well, you see, it's because they already have their win.
I'm just kind of taken back by this. Like I can't let you go until I discuss. Like what the. Yeah, Jack Elliott flies into the sacrifice double play. Center fielder Leobaldo Cabrera to second baseman Sterling Castro. Angel Aguilar scores across the third. Bionic.
So it's a sac fly where the guy got thrown out.
Yeah.
Okay, that follows. I thought when you said sacrifice, I was like, did that man bunt? And you need to put him back in
sacrifice double play, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, sacrifice double play reads like it was probably because you say double play, you think infield, but like it was, it's an outfield assist situation, which is more palatable, I guess.
Yeah, it's just I've never like I'm sure I've seen this somewhere before, but I've just never read that before, so it just took me back.
Did it say that he was thrown out at second?
It didn't say where he was thrown out. All it says is sacrifice double play, Cabrera to second baseman Castro. I'd assume second base if that was the case.
That's bad. Gotta put that guy back.
Yeah, because runner on third scores, obviously. Guy that was on second went to third, and then runner at first went to second.
Made it to third.
Yeah.
And that was a fly ball to back this all the way up again, but this was a fly ball to where?
Center, I think, because Cabrera got it, and he's a center fielder. So
you cannot be going to second in that situation. What are you doing? You're going into the throw. Yeah, no, that's bad work.
That's going to be a discussion with Homer.
I remember who was it? Lancaster got thrown out at second base, stealing a bag to end a rally and end the game a little bit ago. You know what's funny? I had a whole thing, and I didn't record an episode that week because reason. But I will say this: I did the math, and it kind of checked out.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't have said it was a good move. I think, but like basically the run expectancy added by making that move did go up, and I think that's worth something. But the
old head in me is like still sticking with don't make that final out.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get like if you got Gunn trying to stretch one, fine, but like still base running, you don't want the game to end on base running.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm still hanging in here because I have one thing I'm trying to look at, and for the life of me, I know it's somewhere and I can't find it.
Frederick just got it back.
Well, there you go. That's about right. My question was, have Staten Island recorded a sweep yet? They have, spoiler alert. I'm seeing how many. I'm currently at 1. Ironically enough, they swept York in that 1, and that is who swept them this year, which would be a fun little plot twist. They have a few 3-game winning streaks, which is kind of a sad sentence from last year. I believe last year they had, one sweep last year.
Yeah.
Unless they swept the Genomes late in the year because the Genomes packed it in.
Could be. D'Lo was also the guy that gave him the lead home run, solo shot, or tie it. Yeah, lead 6-5. Yeah.
Oh, that's about right.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. And Gateway just swept Lake Erie.
There it is. Yeah, yep, that was not a sweep. Yeah, so they had 1 sweep last year. They have 1 sweep in their team history. They have been swept once this year. So we'll see if they actually get any sweeps this year. That'll be exciting. Go
Okay.
team. That was early, by the way. That was when we were like, oh, maybe Staten Island has it together. It was in like June.
Hey, Pearson's doing good. At least today. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, because he was an Apollo guy, wasn't he? And he managed to survive that.
I believe he was. That's a good point.
Because I remember he was like him and like Aaron Takakis or something like that. I can't never pronounce his last name. Takacs, I think.
I'm not going to do it.
He was solid too, which I do remember all the Apollo guys giving me shit because I was like, these guys are not a good team. I think I said, they're just a bug on the windshield of better teams, which in hindsight is a bit harsh. But I still don't think I was wrong. And I remember one comment that I pinned. If you go back to that Apollo's preview, I pinned it where it's just like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you remember this. Everyone was like, you should pin it. I was like, okay.
That was ice cold from you.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, like I appreciate having confidence in your team, but like, brother, come on. You win 25 games. It's a good year for you.
Right. Great year.
Yeah.
As we learned.
Yeah.
The
Winnipeg game's also pretty good. 4-4 against Chicago right now.
Ooh, that's a good one. Chicago hot.
Yeah, no, they're doing real good. 8-2.
So what
I committee today.
To close that out, Staten Island did get a sweep last year, and then they proceeded to lose 9 out of 10. So maybe don't sweep.
Maybe don't. Although, I suppose we'll end everything so that way I can let you get out of here an hour late. But with two things. One, Railcat Talk podcast is just losing his mind right now, thinking there's a rally. It is 10-2 in the 6th. It is not a rally. But he also chose the media personality description on Twitter. I choose to call myself news because ESPN called me an expert at one point. So I'm running with that.
Some dude on YouTube seems to see me as a primary source for a few things.
I was sending you those videos for a while too.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm media and news too. Look at us.
Yeah. So that's why I saw you use it.
Journalism.
I'm calling myself a journalist. My comp professor would be proud. Final score in York, 18-3.
Woo! Swing day.
Don't forget to play ball because York certainly didn't.